People, welcome to the Full View. Good evening. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got good vibes, John. We got Kenny. We got Marcel. We got Rich. We got Owen. And more importantly, we've got all of you guys at home. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. A lot to talk about in this show. As you can see in the title, should we be more positive? Should we be more positive? Also, there's some news on Rafael Varane as well, about his reaction, or maybe lack of reaction, actually, to being dropped for tactical reasons. And there is a little bit of a line from Mr. David Ornstein as well regarding Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos taking over the football club, or 25%, and the sporting control, etc., etc. So, jam-packed show. I hope everyone's feeling good. Get your coffee, get your biscuits, get your mulled wine. It's mulled wine territory now as well.
Have you seen the Christmas adverts, Flex? They're all over the place.
Adverts are rolling out. Yeah, I know.
You're sounding like a Grinch there, Owen. You're sounding a bit Grinchy.
It's too early, isn't it? It's too early.
It's never too early.
Yeah, there you go. Dub says, UV watching while I soak in the bath. There you go.
Hygiene.
Yeah, hygiene. Getting a nice little bath there. Yeah. Let's just get straight into it. I feel like we've got the perfect group here as well to discuss. Should we be more positive, especially in one good vibes, John, especially in one Mr. Marcel, especially in one Owen as well. I have to say, guys, can I just say something quickly? Owen's been sending me some big messages where he is on his flexes, us against them. Anything that happens to any other team, Owen is straight on my phone saying, Flex, but if it was us, and I tell you what, but we should sack our manager. Owen's in his bag, so he will explain. I know Kenny's always got a big, broad way of looking at things with all of his vast years of watching Manchester United. So interesting to get your perspective as well, Kenny, and you as well, Rich, because you're quite optimistic at the best of time as well. So someone's going to have to give the other side here. We can't all be too positive. I don't know. Let's see. Negative
flex on the horizon.
And I'm the one who've been accused of being negative. So maybe that's just my role now. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Happy faces says Crafty Skills. Man like Owen says Dubs. Marcel, just say it now. Trust the process, guys. Says All Elite. Injuries coming back after international break, says Franklin. And United says Flex is always negative. And Man United 1999 as well says Happy Diwali, everyone, as well. So yes, Happy Diwali to everybody who is celebrating the Festival of Light, if that is you and your family and your peoples. Big up to you. I hope you've had a good one. Good vibes, John. Should United fans be more positive?
You know what? I'm finally in a position now where we could be on the Full View and talk about something optimistic for a change, right? It's not like Marcel's up against the world. Let's, trust the process. It's actually something to be positive about. And this is what I will say. I love to talk about positive things, but I always try to come from it from the perspective of trying to be a bit realistic. I don't force that kind of positivity because I think, honestly, sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming and, if I'm, for lack of a better phrase, cringe. But I think it's also safe to say that we should be positive because what we've seen over the past few weeks, we've seen that injuries actually do affect team performances. I wish I landed a little better. Let me do that. Injuries affect team performances. You know what I mean?
Take two.
Yeah, I forgot this is a live shoot. No, but jokes aside. Jokes aside. What I'm saying is, other teams now are having to realize that, okay, without their team starters, they're having a tough time coming away with results. And I'm not sitting here saying, I told you so, but Manchester United have been through the races. I mean, I saw a post from Big Fab, like the amount of injuries we've had this season is insane. And I'm not saying everything's okay. I'm not saying Eric Ten Hag is devoid of criticism. I'm not saying the players are devoid. I'm not saying anything like that. But we should be optimistic because we are still at some points getting results. And with the 2 weeks international break, with players returning, we should be getting a much more deeper squad. With the quality players returning, we have every reason to at least be optimistic, right? When was the last time we truly felt that way? And I think it's okay to feel that way.
Interesting. Marcel, do you agree with what John has to say there?
Yeah, 100%. I think for us right now, we just need to be able to focus on just scraping through these results. And I can understand why everyone would be worried that, right now it's just scraping through results. But we're in the build-up. We're in a rebuild process. We were going to find this difficult. We was meant to, and he's kind of managed to get players that were from a previous style to kind of play build-up. Maguire's improved a little bit. I don't know whether you would sell him in January, but I don't know whether you'd sell him in the summer, but you definitely can't sell him in January now. He looks very much useful to the team, and we need to get another centre back in. So I'm just dealing with the here and now, and I'm dealing with the future. I can't be one of the people to say Ten Hag out right now. It just doesn't make any sense. He's still working on the system, and he needs to get players in because a lot of these players can't play and definitely play away from home under the demands. We're still, people are rightfully worried about the mentality of the players. We've seen that in multiple games. When something bad happens or adversities happens in the game, cards, we don't get a goal, the goal gets disallowed, the heads drop. But these are a lot of these players, what you're seeing play in recent games, Scott, Maguire, they're players from recent times. So they're going to still have and show those characteristics. That's just the honest truth. So you're going to have a few players part of the core of the team that are going to, revert back to basics. And that's just going to increase the poor habits sometimes, and especially in some of the few games anyway. And then Ten Hag's always started football first. So he's going to reward players. Scott McTominay, if you're playing well, you get to play, you get to continue playing a few games. So it's going to be hard for Mason Mount to come in, and he has to look at that throughout the whole of a season. Ten Hag can't just focus on every single game playing his strongest 11 all the time. Sometimes he has to balance the squad. So Varane won't always get minutes, and he's always breaking down anyway. To be honest with you, I think we need to sell Varane. But I'm very worried. I'm very worried over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm very worried over the next 2 weeks, because we like we were saying just before, we have to prepare for 3 away games. And that's where our team is most fragile, playing under Ten Hag's demands away from home. So happy that we're scraping the results. We have to take this. We said this last season, or when he first came into the job, it's going to be a difficult process. Buckle in. So this is part of this, and it shows. He's the first. I think he's amounted the most amount of points in 50 games out of all previous managers. So he's doing something right. So just give him time, wait till Luke Shaw comes back, wait till Martinez comes back. The build-up patterns in the defensive line are going to get a lot better, definitely. And then he has to work in and get a good combination in the midfield because that's where we're really struggling.
Interesting here. Aminor says, we are miles behind Chelsea. Believe Africa.
Don't even start it. Miles behind Chelsea. Is that what we're saying? Miles behind Chelsea.
There we go.
No, this is what we're saying.
Right.
Because I've seen this.
I'm going to go on mute. Hold on 1 second.
I've seen this. Chelsea, after that game, they're 10th. They're 5 points behind us. And we're behind them somehow. Is that what we're realistically saying? And don't get me wrong, Chelsea this season, they've played well in the big games. Can't fault them for that. Today, they deserve to beat Man City. I thought they were really unlucky. One penalty that was a joke. Another's a deflected goal. They should win that game. But they've also, who have they lost to at home this season? They lost to Forest. They lost to Brentford. I think they've drawn with Villa at home. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, they're going, I don't know about Poch. Is he going to get time? Is he going to end up like Graham Potter? So I think Roberto De Zerbi's another one. De Zerbi, but we want that at Man United. They haven't won a game in 5 games. Where are they at the moment? They're eighth in the league. Ange Postecoglou, we want Ange Ball. They haven't won the last 2 games either. They get a couple of injuries. They lose against Wolves, a team we beat, by the way, but we still did beat them earlier on the season. And suddenly it's, God, be unlucky, Ange. Injuries are tough. Are you taking the piss? Injuries are tough. Injuries. This is when I go back to it's unlucky for other teams, but for us, it's incompetence. For us, it's unacceptable. For us, it's the manager's clueless. I mentioned this morning. I mean, look, I'm not saying Man United are good, right? Because we're not. We're not good. And I'm not saying yesterday's performance was great, because it wasn't great. But if you look at the facts recently, we've won, 4 out of our last 5, right? We're the most informed team in the Premier League on points at the moment. Andre Onana, a player that we're saying is terrible, awful goalkeeper, conceding goals. He's got the joint second most clean sheets in the league at the moment. We won Golden Gloves last season. He still might win it this year as well. Is it sustainable? I don't know. I don't think it is because, again, we're playing poor quality sides. But you also look at the game yesterday, and after coming out of that game, I thought we'd lost the way people were talking on social media. Oh, it's terrible. I've never seen anything like it. Awful. When Man United, we scraped. Someone said we scraped past Luton. We scraped past. We should have won 5-0. We had our XG, and I don't even like XG, right?
Neither.
But our XG was 2.21. Theirs was 0.45. If you want to count all of the chances, you can go Højlund, he had 2. Garnacho, he had 2. Rashford had 1. That's 5 right there. I'd be far more concerned coming out of the game yesterday if we won 1-0 and we went, and that was the only chance we created. Realistically, the same issue we have at the moment is the same issue we had last season, which is actually, for all of this talk about how bad defensively we are in the league, we just don't score goals. If you actually look at our defense, goals conceded versus everyone in the, say, top 8, United have conceded 16 goals. Newcastle, they've only conceded 3 less. Brighton, they've conceded, how many is that? 5 more than us. Villa, they've conceded 1 more than us. You could look at Spurs, they've conceded 1 less than us, right? Then you get into the top 3, their defense is unbelievable. That's why they're top 3, 10, 10, 12. For us, 16. What really sets us apart negatively as well, we've scored 13 goals this season in the Premier League. 13, right? So then you look at Brighton, they've scored 25. Newcastle, 27. Villa, 29.
Disgusting.
Spurs, 24. Arsenal, 26. Liverpool, 27. City, 32. That's what's letting us down. So for all of this sort of talk and narrative about how terrible we are, how rubbish we are, I get we're not playing very well, but you still do have to look at the league and you have to look at what Ten Hag is doing. Points from the first 50 Premier League games. Arteta, 75. Jurgen Klopp, 92. Ten Hag, 96. Better than Klopp, better than Arteta. Guardiola, he's ahead on 112. Not even that far actually behind Ten Hag with that. Fastest Premier League manager to 30 wins as well. So, and this is a manager that is inept, clueless, falling out with everyone, and people want out for who? And then when you say who, people can't actually tell you who they would want instead. They just want somebody else. They want Ange Postecoglou because the media like him. They want Roberto De Zerbi because he's playing nice football with Brighton, even though they haven't won in the last 5 or 6 games in the Premier League. So that's when I just sort of go, we need to not buy into what the media is doing, because if you look on TalkSport, if you look at on social media, and you look at all this kind of stuff about how terrible we are, how rubbish we are, I see Gabby Agbonlahor start counting up how much it's worth yesterday, even though the same Luton side drew a Liverpool last week, suddenly not really counting up that money that much, are they? Or you look at the Spurs side, which they're raving about, only beat them 1-0 as well. Same result as us. Granted, it was away. But the point being is that we can't buy in to what they're doing. Because if we buy in to the negative that they're giving us, then we're already screwed. We're already screwed. And look, I'm still like everyone else. Going into those games after the international break, away from home, that's a big test. Newcastle away, shitting bricks. Okay? When it comes to, was it Everton, Galatasaray? I don't know about that. I'm worried. But I don't get the sort of the piling on, the proper, we're awful, we're rubbish, we're the worst team in the league. That's what we are, guys. I don't know if you've heard or seen. We're the worst team in the league. We'd rather be Chelsea in 10th. Get out of
here.
Get out of here. Claps in the chat. He does a round of applause for that.
Take it, put it in the holster. Put it back in.
Basically, long story short, basically this season.
Done okay.
That's what it is.
It's all going off. There's a lot of takes, big opinion today. Full viewers on smoke. Super chat here from Lil Yo-Yo. Lil Yo-Yo says, Ten Hag's job. Many men wish death upon me. I was at the 50 Cent concert last night as well. Exactly. They are doing that to Ten Hag. They are big up 50. And anyone who went to that concert yesterday at O2, it was sick. All Elite says, Owen just turned this stream on its head. My G, love Owen. Big up to you all. Thank you for everything. Title charge coming. Glory, glory. United view. Glory, Man United. Rich, what say you on everything Owen just said and just your general consensus where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying there. And, he definitely deserved a round of applause. Took people to church on a Sunday, mate. And you know what? At the end of the day, Owen is completely right. I think we need to have that kind of siege mentality, because everyone is going to be against us. Everyone's going to come at us and give us all this, like, oh, United did this, United did that. Ten Hag is a board fraud, this, all this kind of stuff, right? But I think sometimes when you're in a situation, when you're sitting, in life, if you're going through something, you think like it's the end of the world. You think everything is all bad. But then when you take a step back sometimes and you look at the bigger picture and you think actually, you're doing a puzzle, you're struggling on a certain section, but actually you look at the bigger picture. Actually, I've done more than I actually anticipated doing here, and it's not as bad as it looks. And I think basically what we're saying and what we're seeing with United in the context of the season is it's not as bad as we have thought. And we're all entitled, of course, when we drill down to it, because as fans, that's what we do, right? We drill down to the details of each game. We look, even when we're doing our player ratings, for example. I see people disagreeing as always with player ratings. Like when we're drilling down to each game and each fact, and we're comparing it to what we want from this team. The expectations that we have that are based on nothing actually at this point. They're not based on any previous performance. We're expecting so much, and we're drilling down to the fact that we're getting so bogged down in the details. But then, like I said, when you look at the bigger picture and you compare it with the rest of the teams in the league, it's not as bad as we think. So one thing I would say though is that I try to be a bit more cautious when it comes to we've got players coming back, because Luke Shaw was back before, and there were times when we were complaining about his performances. So let's see what happens when these players come back first before we say it's all going to be honky dory and it's going to be great. Going to win the league. There's still a lot that this team needs to get through. And I think our job as fans, and as Owen's been saying, is to get behind the team as much as possible. Obviously, call it out when it needs to be called out. But I think we do have to take it sometimes a bit more bigger picture and realize, okay, Ten Hag is not doing as bad as we thought. This player or that player is not doing as bad as we thought. My main issue, especially if you take out from what Owen just said as well, my main issue is that goal difference in terms of the goals that we have scored. 13 goals this season is despicable. And last season, we were blaming it on, what's his name, Weghorst, saying, Rashford is scoring goals, nobody else in the team is scoring goals. Weghorst we don't have a striker, he's rubbish. We've got, Marcel to the side because he's not really offering us too much. We've got a good young striker in Højlund. We've got Garnacho, we've got, these forwards, Rashford, etc. They're not pulling their weight at the moment. And I think that is our main issue that we need to sort out. Secondly, obviously, you look at Champions League, bottom of the league in Champions League, and, that also brings the feeling down. Because then you're widening out the context and saying, actually, we're not just looking at the Premier League here. We're not being good in the other competitions as well. We've knocked out the Carabao Cup, for example. So I get it, and I get the negativity at times, or maybe the realism rather than negativity. I think it's just being realistic. But at the same time, we do need to have that siege mentality. That's my thing. Like, let's just try and build that siege mentality and look forward as, let's chase these guys down. We've got something to chase. We've got something to fight for now. And at times this season, we didn't think we did.
Yeah, well said. Kenny, I know before we started, you said, sort of taking it all in. Now you have done that. Where are you at?
Oh, I think too many people have got rose-tinted glasses on, if I'm being perfectly frank. And I'll tell you why. I have to tell you why. Right? You've got a goal difference of -3. Our manager is going to win probably a manager of the month. We've had 3 victories against 3 teams that have won 1 game each this season. They're the bottom 3 in the Premier League. I'm looking at it from a dose of realism, right? And I desperately, I want Ten Hag to stay, and I want him to do well because I love Man United, and I think he's had a terrible start to his career as a manager with dealing with issues off the pitch that no other manager's done. And I'll give him credit for achieving his 50 wins in the time that he's done it. I tick it off. But all I can say is what I see with my own eyes. And I was at the ground yesterday, and I've been to the ground for the last few games. The atmosphere is terrible. And yesterday, I had real concerns because, all right, we'd won. I accept that we won. But if we hadn't have won, I think there would have been a massive call for his head. I do, honestly, because it wasn't about celebrating the victory yesterday. It was about the relief of the victory. So I got the impression in the ground that we weren't celebrating the win. We were relieved that we'd won. And that's a sad indictment, I think. But that's just my opinion. Going forward, I looked at that team yesterday. Players that players that hopefully can come back and who were playing next. And I'll give you a little example. Everton are now a Sean Dyche team. They're very physical. They love set plays or whatever. And I looked at our team yesterday, And I looked at Reguilon, he isn't strong enough. Ericsson, Youngie Nacho or whatever, and as good as he is going forward and he's putting his effort in. When we look at what Everton are bringing to the game now, and we've got to go to Goodison, you know, they scored after 50 seconds yesterday and they were steamrolling at times. I have a real concern about their physicality. Forget the technical ability, look at the physicality. We desperately need Wan-Bissaka back. We desperately need Shaw back. You can forget Varane. Yesterday when he brought him on, he moved Maguire straight to left centre back because he doesn't trust Varane in any other position. He trusts other players to play either left back, right back, or whatever, or in midfield. But he does not trust Varane. He only trusts him in one position. So I have concerns for that. But I'm a realist. Yes, we're in sixth place. Galatasaray was a disaster. You were 2-0 up. You lose
Copenhagen.
a player. Sorry, Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Sorry. You're 2-0 up, right? What does he do? He waits till half time to make the changes. Any other manager that has ever, with the salt, would have gone 4-4-1 straight away. You'd have brought Amrabat on. You'd have shored it up. He didn't. He left the right side weak, and it was as if Rashford was still on, but we'll be okay without some. No, I just think he got it wrong. I just think he got that wrong, and I'm all for him. I genuinely support him because I've been around Man United a long time, and I've seen what it can do to a manager. I've seen how the press turn. The world hates us. The football world hates us. They all love it. And that, you know, we said we've got to stick together or whatever. But I have a real concern that we have to be more realistic about where we are. Be realistic about Ten Hag as well. I do hope, and I've said it, that somebody takes that role of signing players off him because his record is terrible. Anthony on the bench. Mount on the bench. Mount, when he came on yesterday, I thought got bullied. So I have a concern. That's my concern. I'm happy that we're sixth. I can't believe we're sixth. I cannot believe that we're sixth in the league. And we're 5 points behind. I think it's Tottenham and Liverpool and 6 points and so on. And I'm thinking, wow, if we can get our players back, you know, Tottenham have imploded. Tottenham have done what Tottenham do every year, but they've done it earlier. They've imploded. You know what I mean? So I am trying to be positive, but I'm also, more than anything, trying to be realistic. And yesterday, I think, speaking from someone who was there, had lots of people that I don't know around me, the general consensus was relief. When that goal went in, it was relief. It wasn't sheer joy and excitement. We've won. It was relief. And I think a lot of the relief was for Ten Hag, because we knew that if we hadn't got that, if we'd have got a draw yesterday, going into the international break, we all know they all look for stories. There's no story now around Man United. The story will be Jim Radcliffe on it next week. The story would have been Ten Hag. Without a doubt. If we hadn't got that win today, the story would have been Ten Hag. Because of what's going on midweek. But I love the fact that you've all, you know, everybody, and Owen's really up for it. And one day Owen will present programs on MUTV. Believe me, he will. Because that's what they love.
Put those salacious rumours out there, Kenny. Jesus. I'm going to think
it can happen. It can happen.
Yeah. PR merchant, Owen.
Exactly.
You never know.
Exactly.
You never know.
Lucas says, we need to remember no one wants to see us back at the top. We need the mentality of us against the world. Love United View panel. And K Flow, so thank you, Lucas, by the way, been a member for 16 months. Big up to you, Lucas. And K Flow, yes, John, good John vibes. Enjoyed that one. K Flow says, has gifted five memberships, 5 United View memberships. So big up to you, K Flow. It's probably a bit much for me to go back and see who it's to, but yes, big up to the 5 new members. Danny says, I was there during Fergie's awful years. Relax, keep calm. I've seen this before. It's happened before. The manager needs time. Manager needs patience. I sit where it isn't all positive. I do think everything is about context. When you look at the league, for how bad it's been, let's just go back to that week. Yeah, and I put myself in this about how I felt in that week where we got slapped twice, 3-0. Yeah. The manner of it against City and the manner of it against Newcastle, right? That was the first time all the hounds came. That was the first time it was like, this guy ain't got a clue. Get him out. I mean, from the outside, you know, the media piling in, they were waiting for it. And in the moment, I felt so low, so low. That was the first time. I think after City, I might have said there's no way back. Or I think I might have said it after Newcastle. That's how I felt in that moment. And I did say that. And as the week went on, I kind of calmed down a little bit. But I did feel that. I think context is key, because there are positives about what we're doing, considering that it's been our worst start in God knows how long. You know, we're breaking all the wrong records. You know, there's been so many injuries. We're getting embarrassed in some games. We've made stupid mistakes. You know, players becoming memes on a constant basis for stupid mistakes and things like that. Onana, you know, he started to settle down now. We've gone through that period. Considering all of that has happened, and we've had to constantly take bashings from most outside the fan base, but even some of our own fans who are not sure about Ten Hag's future. Considering all of that, it is weird that, you know, when you look at the table, that's how it looks. It would feel like it was Chelsea last year. The way that we're being spoken about, and the way that we speak about ourselves. I'm gonna put myself in this. The way even I've been acting, it feels like we're a lot lower than that, and it feels like we're nowhere near anybody around us or above us. And I do agree with that. Where I push back a little bit is I'm reluctant to be overly positive yet, because I feel like the batch of next games tells us a lot about ourselves. You know, they are really, really tough away games. And I'm not saying if we lose them, that means I was right and Ten Hag should be. I'm not saying that. I've said it many times before. I'm behind Ten Hag and I don't want him sacked, even if it means we have to finish 10th. I don't care. We have to see it through with this manager and give him the time. If that means a shit season, it means a shit season. And I'm not saying it definitely will be, by the way. But there's a reason why when I say to you, if I say to you, Newcastle away, you're confident. Galatasaray away, you're confident. Chelsea home, you're confident. You know, all these games, there's a reason why when we ask these questions, we're not confident. Why? Because we're not good right now. We're not a good team right now. We do some good things. I think we do some good things. I think that in moments of games, we play well. And even when we win, sometimes people, obviously, if the style isn't on, we want to do better. But I do think that we're always one game away from reality. Like, if we play anybody decent, we see what happens. Even if they're not that decent, look at Copenhagen. Like we were saying, are Copenhagen that much better than Fulham? Okay, you might say yes on the balance of play now, but are they? When we played Arsenal, lost. When we played Spurs, lost. When we played City, lost. When we played Newcastle, lost. When we played Brighton, lost. As soon as we play anybody decent, and there's slim margins. I know we thought we nearly won at Emirates, but when you look at the fixture list, it says L. And we've lost any time we played someone decent. And when we haven't played someone decent, we win narrowly, very narrowly. So that shows you where you truly are at in terms of where the team is. Obviously, we're collecting points, which is the main thing. If you can't win well, win ugly. Just win. And I get that. That is absolutely has to happen. But the true measuring stick of where you are isn't always smack bang in the middle of the league positions. Sometimes it can. I think Owen asked me this on a show. I think he said, does the league lie? And I said, well, it depends. It depends what you take out of it. Because sometimes, as we've seen, you can finish second. Are you the second best team going forward into that next season? Not always. Not always. Are you in a better position than the team that finished fourth? Not always. Not always. So I think we have to be careful about what we choose to take from it. What I do like personally is like what you said, Owen. Let's look at the numbers and let's really make some sense out of this. We scored 13 goals. Bang on. When you look, like you said, you're spot on, because the only thing that isn't about par, if you look at the goals we've conceded, for the batterings we've taken, how crap we are.
Same.
It's about on par with everyone. I know Arsenal conceded 10, we've conceded 6 more than that, but it's 13s, it's 15s, it's 17s, it's 12s. It's, Brighton conceded 21 and De Zerbi's amazing. I know they got injuries. So look,
no, not the injuries. We're not allowed those. Can't use those as an excuse.
No, I do agree, but I am reluctant to be too positive because I literally think humble is around the corner to show us where we really truly are at. When we have to face that tough atmosphere at Everton and we come unstuck, I hope we don't. We go, knew it. This team always does it. When we go up to flipping St. James's Park under the lights on a Saturday night on my birthday, by the way, which these guys please don't ruin it. Yeah. And are not at it. We're gonna go, see, same players, same mentality. When we go to Galatasaray, right, which is gonna be 15 million times more intense than what Copenhagen was, and we're gonna learn about ourselves. So hopefully we come out of those tests. If we come out of that batch, then I'll be more inclined to say that, you know what I mean, there's a little bit there. But winning against Luton 1-0, you know, should have been more. Winning against Fulham, you know, can't say that should have been more. That was just what it was. You know, it's not. I don't think we can read too much.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that, Flex. I think you pointed to some of those losses. Like, for instance, I look at the Spurs defeat, and I think a lot of the issues do circle back to the fact that those attacking players can't score goals.
20 minutes FC.
Because if you look at the Spurs game, if Bruno Fernandes scores header from 6 yards out, which he should score, then that game can be completely and totally different. You look at Arsenal. It's not as if we didn't have chances against Arsenal. We did. We were very unlucky when it came to the VAR. And I know we get into like, unlucky hypotheticals and all that kind of stuff. That's true. But I've also mentioned this too, the sort of collapsing mentality of overcoming adversity in the game. I think that's linked back to not being able to score goals as well. Because if you've got a team that is only scoring 13 goals in the Premier League and it's mid-November at this point, when you do go 1-0 down, you know we're not coming back because we're not going to score a goal. Exactly. Or if there's a VAR decision, then they're not coming. And that needs to be cut. And don't get me wrong, like that's no excuse. In the same way when we play Copenhagen, just because you've gone down to 10 men is no excuse to concede immediately. I don't disagree with that. But I also think that when it comes to momentum, and we saw this last season with United too, that I remember after the poor start we had to the season, we had Southampton away, then it was Leicester away. They're two sides that eventually got relegated. We scraped past those games 1-0. And when your confidence is rock bottom on the floor, like sometimes you just need to pick up wins. You just need to pick up wins, and hopefully you start building momentum along the way. And hopefully your mentality improves because of that, because you go, well, we haven't lost that often recently. So if we do concede a goal, we can actually come back because we've been beating teams. A bit like after the World Cup last December. Came out of that and we were winning games against poor teams. I remember at the time people going, oh, you beat Burnley in the Carabao Cup, or you beat Forest, or you beat like Wolves. And with these teams that weren't doing very well. And then we played Arsenal, and then eventually we lost. We played City in that, we did win. But by the time we played City, because we'd gone on this run of sort of scraping through games, not playing that well, but scoring goals, when the big game came around, we actually had a bit of momentum behind us. And that's just what we haven't had this season, whether it be injuries, off the field stuff, takeover, or defeats. We've never had momentum. And I think that even if we're just looking at it from a league basis, we've got a smidge of momentum right now. Not that we should blindly be like, we're going to beat everyone, because we're not. Like I said, I'm still worried about the away games. And like you, if we come out of them with some points, I'll go, wow, that's better than nothing. But I don't know. I just don't know if I completely subscribe to the sky is falling, the sky is falling. You know, the roof's leaking, but the sky is falling.
I agree with that. Yeah. Can I just say that I think, Ten Hag needs to be a bit more creative with his team selection. I think that's what it is. If we're trying to progress now, he's trusting, players from a previous time and with Ole and Jose Mourinho right now because of injuries. But I think he needs to maybe throw his hat on some of the younger players and be creative with using them and utilizing them. I remember last season, Zidane Ekbar came and played 1 or 2 games in and around this period. The next 17 games, then should we say, they played in cup games and so on. I think Kobe, Hannibal, Ahmad, if these players can come in and see we try and see what they can do and offer for us, we never know what could happen in the side. So I think that's what's, Ten Hag has to change what he's doing now a little bit in-game. His in-game management definitely has to improve. It's letting us down in key moments. But also maybe just trying a few of the younger talents, man. Kobe definitely could help us. Hannibal has shown us good performances against Crystal Palace. And Ahmad, I think, definitely is a player in the making that could definitely, be the answer to the right-hand side. So we'll see what happens, man, in the next 17 games.
I think the other thing, Marcel, what we've got to remember is, and I'm not disputing everything that you said about bringing the young players in, he doesn't even trust the players he's bought. let alone these young players that he doesn't know. So if you're going out and you're paying 50, 60 million pounds and these people are on the bench, the likes of young Hannibal and Ahmed, when he's fit or whatever, don't have a chance. They don't have a chance, because what he's got to do, he's got to justify at some stage why he's paid 50, 60, 70 million pounds for these players, because you've got a new man coming in next week. And the first question I'd be asking is, hang on a minute, don't try and tell me you want another 60, 70 million when we've already spent 150 million. You can't get a game. So he's got to be very, very careful. He's got to be very careful.
If you talk about Mason Mount, Scott McTominay kept Casemiro out of the team. That this Ten Hag rewards good football. So when you've delivered us a game, in dire moments, you score 2 goals against Brentford, and then that's why Scott McTominay is playing and Mason Mount's on the bench right now.
No, I think Casemiro keeps Casemiro out the team, not Scott McTominay, because the first time Casemiro hits a run of form. No, but what I'm saying is McTominay's in because he can't trust these players. He can't trust them. He doesn't want McTominay. He's tried to sell him. He tried to if he'd agreed to a £35 million move in summer, he was gone, as was Harry Maguire. So we're kidding ourselves that all of a sudden Harry Maguire is a great player and it's Scott McTominay. Maguire has been outstanding for 2 games. I get it. I was there. I've seen him. He's been outstanding, the lad. I'm not criticising him, but our manager didn't want him and probably doesn't want him. So
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying when you say that you don't that he's not trusting his £60 million player in Mason Mount, right now he's been kept out the team because Scott McTominay has been producing for the last 3 or 4 games. Ten Hag rewards good football. He's done that, and that's what happened to Casemiro last season. There was a period where he had just come to the team, but because Scott was playing well, he gets kept out the team.
I don't even know if it's rewarding good football, Marcel, to be honest with you. I think it's literally a case, and he said it explicitly in these press conferences too. If a team gets a result and wins, he'll keep the same team. Because he keeps saying continuity, routines. He said it himself that he's like the midfield balance the last few games. Why? Because we won. Like even with Copenhagen midweek, I know it's people go, no excuse, but the red card did change that game, because if we hadn't got Rashford, we were coasting that game. We were coasting that game. Was cool. And he liked exactly, and he liked the balance. So that's why I said going into the game yesterday, I went like people are like, oh, is Rafael Varane going to start? I went no, like it's not because he's not going to make that many changes. He did it last season. Remember when we were playing Thursday, Sunday, and people going, I can't believe he's not making that many changes for Europa League. First Europa League game we played against Sociedad, we lost. And he went, I ain't doing that again. I don't care if I'm playing a team from Cyprus or Greece or whatever. I'm playing the same team because I like winning and I just like building up momentum, and he calls it routines from winning. So to Marcel's point, if he plays a team that's got Maguire and McTominay in and they win, chances are the next time he's got to pick a team, they're going to be in there again. And whether people like it or not, but I do agree with what Kenny's saying, where you go, like some of the signings, it looks like either the plan he had in his mind hasn't worked out, or he's changed his mind, or then you get into the debate of, was it a Ten Hag signing? Was it a club signing? Whatever it may be, the recruitment department's rubbish. Ten Hag's recruitment's iffy at best, because he just goes with who he knows. So when Jim Ratcliffe and anyone else do come in, they just need to lift that and go, that's someone else's. Someone else is better at that. You do that. Because on the coaching side of things, it's like he's not a terrible coach. I think there's been revisionism that he's this terrible coach and doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He won a trophy last season, finished 3rd with no striker. It's not bad going. Yeah.
I'm going to come to... So 1 second, Kenny. Going to come to John and Rich in 2 seconds. I'm just going to get these super chats out. Danny says, when you have half an engine, do you expect to win races and judge? Everyone demands a 4 to 5 year timeline for rebuilds, then cry when we don't win 15 months in. And K Flo says, if I had my way, all the attacking players stay and work on drills all international break. They don't leave Carrington until each person scores 5. Keep them captive, make them work. And David G says, Mount won't play in his position because of Bruno, and Bruno will never get dropped. He thought Mason could play with Bruno and realized we're unbalanced. And that's a little bit what Owen said about, someone said it was about the plan in his head might not be how it came. Because look, when everyone was fit at the beginning of the season, Mason Mount was a starter. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, but there were massive teething problems with that midfield. We got absolutely run through. Mateus Nunes and Cunha destroyed us in that first game. They ran for our midfield like it wasn't there. We were lucky. Second game of the season, Spurs. First 20 minutes, Mason Mount was really good. Won the ball back in the high press, etc., etc. Then after the 20 minutes, the whole team, again, midfield getting run through wasn't good enough. What was it? Forest at home. To be fair, after going 2-0 down, we assumed control of the game. Then Arsenal away. There were some gaps at points, but actually we played some good stuff. It's a very mixed bag. And I think Ten Hag is basically, I think he's always altered as he's gone along, because at the end of the day, it's a results business, man. And when you're trying to put your principles across, things must get compromised or you will get sacked, because you have to find a way. You have to find a way to win matches. And if that is, like Kenny said, though, going back to a player who essentially you thought was out the door, but you feel that they can do a job for you in these games here, then look at it. If that's going to a young player like Hannibal, bring him in against Burnley and things like that, Palace, where it's like, I need a bit of legs. I need someone who's going to run around and show the pros what to do. Then I can take the kid out. So I'm just going to, it's the right game for the kid. Do you know what I mean? Now we haven't really seen him since then, really, have we? Well, obviously Newcastle, but we've seen that obviously the level of Hannibal is like, you know, it's yellow cards, it's kicking people, it's getting about, but the real quality we need, it probably isn't Hannibal. But for that little period of games where we wasn't even running, we weren't even running, Ten Hag went, I'm going to use that kid to be an influence on the team. That's the right thing to do in this period. Now the right thing to do is Scott. Before when it was Brentford, he was like, Scott needs to have more impact. He's going away at Scotland. He's scoring goals. We're not scoring any. I need to use him. Then he scores what? 3 in 2. Scored 1 at Sheffield United as well. So then it's justified. So it is difficult, and I feel like he's just gone from pillar to post to try and battle the like small sections of fixtures. So like these games coming up, but McTominay will probably play every single one. They're all physical. They're all, you know, and he's been playing as well. So and Maguire will play. John, where are you at with you know? I know you was positive with what you said earlier in the show, but now we've kind of moved the conversation on a little bit. Did you want to add to anything?
No, I just kind of want to reinforce this thing. I think on every full view that I've showed on, I've talked about this. I truly believe that Erik ten Hag did not envision this season to start the way it did. And I really believe that, yes, while we did start Mason Mount in the beginning, which gave us early indications that maybe Erik ten Hag truly did sign Mason Mount for the purpose of playing alongside Bruno Fernandes, maybe that could be the case, but I truly think that he brought on Mason Mount as a long-term signing. Last season, we were all sitting here about how Erik ten Hag was a great manager because he figured out how to get the best out of Wout Weghorst, given the limitations of a player like Wout Weghorst. Man couldn't score if you just fed him the ball in front of the net. We saw how he was trying to get things to work. We saw how things were looking good under him. And for Erik ten Hag to think, okay, Casemiro's out here at his age. Last season, man was dropping shoulders, shimmying up on man, cutting the ball, spraying at 40s, banging goals, and we were looking great. And then all of a sudden, for one season, everything to capitulate. I don't think he was envisaging that. And I truly think Mason Mount was one of those, hey, let's look ahead type of signing. It might not have been 100% a Manchester United, 100% Erik ten Hag signing, but I truly think that players like Mason Mount was sort of to look a little bit ahead. Erik ten Hag is a man that I truly think that is somebody that has massive ambitions. I think he took on this job with the purpose of wanting to really bring Manchester United back. And I'm not saying other managers didn't, but I believed in that ambition because I truly see it in his work ethics and his values and things like that. And I'm not here just completely glazing him, saying that he's completely devoid of all the wrongdoings, but nobody makes perfect signings. You know, nobody makes a signing and he bangs every single transfer, bangs every season. It doesn't work like that. And I just think that Mason Mount in particular, while he hasn't really live up to what our expectations were, I think that for the long term, we'll see a lot better in terms of what we'll see with Erik ten Hag and players like Mason Mount.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Rich, you want to come in there?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I agree with what John's saying there, because I think we do have to be a bit patient with that signing, especially because it seems like it was a Bruno long-term kind of backup, you know, cover essentially, which is weird, you know, especially when you think about, you pay 60 million, you got him now, and you sometimes think maybe you could have waited till next season to try and get him pushing for free, but you have to strike while the iron is hot kind of thing and just get him now. I think it's that one is going to be one that's a long-term let's see where the investment is on this one. And to be honest, I think Kenny said that he got bullied a bit when he came on. I personally think he had a decent game. I think he was 50 minutes. I think he played.
Me too.
I don't think it was too bad. Yeah, I thought he had a decent game. Obviously he had that bad pass, but I think he
worked his ass off to get it straight back though.
Exactly right. Exactly. And I think generally, I do agree that there is you have to be careful. You have to be realistic when it comes to this team. We really do. It's very easy to get carried away with a few wins. But when you think about it, actually, the teams that we've beaten as well this season in the Premier League, I think we've had 7 wins in the Premier League. Most of those teams aren't the big teams. They're the minnows, or more so down the bottom side of the league, and we haven't really put them to the sword. Like I said on my fan view, we've only beaten one team this season by more than 1 goal in all competitions. I think the only game we won was 3-0 when we won the Carabao Cup. So other than that, it's been by 1 goal. And it goes back again, circle back to what Owen said about the strikers. That's where the problem lies. And, if we can fix that, if we play in, having games where we're scoring an early goal, we're scoring 1 or 2 goals early, putting chances away, and not obviously getting silly red cards, then I think the confidence will come back to the players. It's hard because then people, there's always a response to every argument you make, right? People will say, "Oh, what about Galatasaray when we went up and Hoyland had those? I think it was 2-1 actually, not 2-0. And obviously we had a bad red card in the Copenhagen game. But I do think the more these players can get the goals and can get the early goals in, we'll see a different team. We'll see a different confidence flow throughout the team. And I obviously, of course, I 100% back Ten Hag, and I do think that he will continue to get it right. We just have to be patient. It's just hard. But like I said, be realistic. We're not good right now. Let's be honest. We're not a good team right now. But we're getting.
I know we're short on time, so I just want to touch upon this real quick. That 20-minute spell before Rashford got sent off, when he played on the right hand side, from an eye test, you can clearly see he looks confident, and you can clearly see that him and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, that balance on the right hand side looks so good. I talk about eye test so much. The way they were moving, it felt like a load of shoulder, the kgs of shoulder. Shout out KG. The kgs of shoulder sort of left their system. They look lively, and then Rashford, he kept playing down the right. It looked good. It looked effective. And then there was a point where he chopped the ball with his legs and he cut it down the middle. And it looked like you saw a real small glimpse of the OG Marcus Rashford. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everything's great, but I'm saying things are going to take time to reset itself. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I believe, is just the start of real quality players that understand how to play Ten Hag system, coming back into the system and playing dope fucking ball. Because I love that 20-minute spell. I was screaming.
Well, that John is another
excellent.
Yeah. And that is another example of when I'm saying Ten Hag's doing things in small clusters of moments to get by. Anthony was always the guy who gave us the balance and the width. Like, although his output has been terrible, we was at that point last year where it was like, but when he doesn't play, Palestri obviously it's not that. Rashford can't play out there. Garnacho's a young kid. It's only his first season at the time. He can't play there. And now he's been forced, because Anthony's been so appalling, he's actually been forced to put Rashford there. With the situation, with the cards he's been dealt, he's gone, I can't do it. And actually, some people are saying, and Owen, I'll come to you on this actually, and we'll open up the conversation for the last 10 minutes. Some people are saying, have we stumbled on something here?
Well, this is
because it forces him to cross it. Because
this was exactly what I was going to say. This is going to be my interest. This is going to be my interesting thing. I said, I think it's ironic, isn't it? Because I agree, Rashford looked better on the right, but it's almost because of his limitations, it forces him to do the simple things.
Make the right choice.
He can't cut inside because when he's playing on the left, he cuts inside his right foot because he don't really have a left foot. So when he's on the right, he has to just do simple things, look for the overlap, which he wouldn't really do on the left, look for the overlap. And Wan-Bissaka's always willing to get behind him. Dalot maybe not as much. He has to get the ball across goal to look for Rasmus Højlund, because again, he doesn't have the option to cut inside on his foot. Sure. But I don't know. It's almost like I said, you stumbled upon it, but it's almost like a bit of a cell phone on Marcus Rashford, isn't it? Like the things you're not good at, you can't do. So you can only do the things we want you to do on the right-hand side. So maybe it is a stumble upon it. I don't know. I will say about Anthony, and again, he's been appalling this season. Should have had an assist when he came on yesterday.
Yeah.
Ironically, when Rashford went back to the left.
Back to the left.
You know, the funny thing is,
the chance Owen had came from Rashford putting it across goal. Got deflection, but you know.
Yeah.
And no, people say that. I think a lot of the things that people level at Rashford, right, is that he's football IQ is low or whatever, right, and he doesn't do the right thing at the right moments. Cool. Then surely, what we should do is put him in a box, which is what you're saying. Put him on the right hand side does, where he's forced to do the things that he should be doing. If you're saying he's not got the football IQ to do, to think on by himself, okay, we'll put him in a box and let him play on the right hand side because he has to pass, he has to cross. He's less likely also to run into blind alleys because he's only doing that because he's trying to make a shooting opportunity for himself. He's probably not going to do that on the right hand side as much. So maybe we need to put him in a box.
Well, that's because Marcus Rashford right now, I've always been a huge proponent of saying Marcus Rashford should only be played on the left. And the reason why it's that case is because when he's on it, when my man is on a Mazza, he is on it. And the reason why he plays so well is because when you're on the left wing and what you're good at is taking players on, beating them, it's all instinct. You don't think about it. It's not calculated. You don't sit there like playing chess. It's all instinct. And right now, Marcus Rashford, that instinct is shot. It's gone. He's second guessing his second guesses. That's why, ironically, playing him down the right, where he's not really thinking much. It's like, all right, I got to keep things all that simple. It is ironic, but it helps in some ways right now to help him regain that confidence. And that was what I was talking about before. That was what I was alluding to. That 20-minute spell, he looked like for a spark, he regained a wee little bit of that confidence. And I loved seeing that about that situation. It's going to take time. It's a lot of things are just tarnished. They just poop all over the place. It's going to take time to wipe it all.
Lucas says, if we get to 500 likes, I will gift 5 United View memberships. If you want to get behind Lucas'
watching
challenge,
it should be easy.
Exactly. We've got 270 odd likes at the minute, so just under double. We need just under double, and he will give 5 memberships. Exactly. Please do believe. Imran's just done it anyway. Imran's gone. I'll tell you what. I'll
see you, Lucas. I'll raise you.
Yeah,
I'll raise you. I'll
raise you. Because can I get up on the screen? Yes, I can. I did click that. There you go. Yep. Oh, Owen's doing it at the same time.
I didn't click anything. That wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't touch anything.
That was weird. Did you see that? It just went faint and went off. That was really weird. Imran has gifted 5 UV memberships. Big up to you, Imran. Big respect. Thank you for that. And Benji says, honestly think Mount will be good for us. Needs time.
I like you, Benji.
He does. I honestly think he needs to be playing more. I actually think he was quite good when he come off the bench yesterday. Apart from that one ball that he gave away, it was interesting, Kenny. Where obviously you was at the game, I didn't go yesterday. You thought maybe not. He got a bit bullied, but in fact, I'm going to send you a little. There's a little clip going around, Kenny, as well on Twitter of his compilation of what he actually did do really well against Luton. And even I watched and I was like, actually, when you put that all together, he actually had quite an impact on the game. I'll send it to you. David G says, I'm glad McTominay and Maguire are playing because their sell-on value won't decrease. And David G, I know we've said that one already. And Imran also comes back. He's been a member of 600 months, I nearly said. 6 months. Says, who needs 500 likes? Well, we do.
The 5 people who aren't members. That's who they need. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Yeah, we're currently at 320. If I do my maths, I think that's 180 likes to go. So there's over 1,200 people watching. It's entirely possible. Even if half people right now, they're having their Sunday, like you said, someone's in the bath, maybe don't, because you might drop your phone or something like that. But if you're not bathing right now, click the like button. Yeah, it's free.
Exactly. I always like to do this in the international break because obviously it's a chance for reflection and it's also a chance to look forward. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it in 5s because, it's just a nice number that we always do. The Premier League do it like that as well on the table. I just want to go around the room. Rich, I'll start with you. Next 5 games. Everton away, Galatasaray away, Newcastle away, Chelsea home, Bournemouth home. That takes us up to the 9th of December.
Okay.
How many games are we going to win or how many points? I know it's kind of across, you've got Galatasaray there, but it's still points. Talk to me.
I think Bournemouth. If I start at the end, Bournemouth, depending on
Start the easy
yeah,
one.
exactly.
Yeah,
Start the easy one.
Just avoid all the hard ones. I just said.
Exactly. I think we'll beat Bournemouth. We should be beating Bournemouth, right? And and we can base that on the fact that we've beaten all the small teams anyway. Chelsea, I guess I'm going backwards. They're actually quite open. They give you chances. So are we going to take our chances against Chelsea? Is the Chelsea game away as well?
It's home.
It's home. Okay.
It's our next home game.
I don't want. The thing is now I'm trying to be more realistic and not do the whole we're gonna beat everyone. We're gonna win everyone. But it is hard because it's my team, right? I support the team. But I generally do think we can get something against Chelsea. They're so open. Okay, City couldn't shut up against them, but I do think we can do that. If you compare our like I said, our goal difference now to last season, very similar. Our defensive work is very similar. It's the attacking. So can we take our chances? I think we can. Newcastle, I think, will be harder because it's away. Galatasaray, we have to beat. It's just a must win. We have to beat them. And there's one I'm missing one.
Everton away.
Everton.
That's the next game.
So Everton will win.
We'll beat Everton
Galatasaray
easily.
Will win. Yeah,
Easy,
easy. We'll beat Everton. Easy win.
And Galatasaray, you think will win?
We have to. So only Newcastle's the one I'm like, okay, maybe we won't win that one.
Okay, Marcel, talk to me.
4 out of 5.
Well, firstly,
5 wins loaded, Marcel.
Well, firstly, just on Rashford, it's interesting. Again, when I'm talking about being creative with the selection, we don't know what's the full situation with Højlund. So Rashi might end up being a striker for a little while, just because we have to be creative with our selection process.
Marcel minutes.
I don't know.
90.
If
the
we're doing
90 is loading. The first 90 in 18 months is loading.
Please, don't do this.
It's difficult. Ten Hag has to manage these minutes. He has to manage these players and these minutes. So I can imagine Rashi, and he doesn't want to press. He just doesn't want to do the defensive work. So, but I do see the point on him playing on the right side. But for the next few games, Everton, yep, a nice comfortable win there. I think we've played well away from. We've played well. It's a difficult fixture, but we've played well there before. So I think that's a win. Galatasaray, I'm hoping for a draw. Because the atmosphere again, we've played at big grounds away from home, and we.
Are we out with a draw?
Yeah, draw. We're definitely out with a draw. Yeah,
win by 5.
I wouldn't hope for that.
We have to.
We need to win every game.
We hope for a win, bro.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult, and I'm looking at the bigger picture that at the end of the day, maybe not being part of Champions League might benefit us.
Do you take Europa League, or do we say out of Champions League completely?
I don't want to look that far. I just want to focus on the 5 games. If I could just focus on those 5 games, I would take a draw. I'll be happy for a draw. If we're looking at the performance and results game by game, I'll be happy for a draw. And the broader picture, whether that means we're out Champions League or not, if we're out, we're out. That means you're training throughout the week or you're in the Europa League, whatever. But I need him to evolve the team. That's what I'm looking at above everything. But anyway, and then the next games, I think I think it's the 2 home games, Chelsea and Brentford.
Bournemouth.
But Chelsea and Bournemouth, they're 2 games that are going to be very difficult. Chelsea, we've seen today, but they played a basketball match, and that's what it looks like we're playing most games. Attack and defense. So, but we're at home, and we usually make a good account of ourselves at home against Chelsea. So I'm hoping for a win there, and then of course Bournemouth should be a win. So out of 4 games, 5 games, I'll say, 3 wins, a draw, and a loss.
Okay. Kenny?
Tough ones, aren't they? We don't draw games. That's what we're not doing this season. Rather winning.
I like that.
So we don't draw games. I like that. I prefer that,
Yeah.
because if we'd have drawn some of them games, what would have won, then would have been halfway up the league. And that's one of the positives of the 3-point system. So, if I look at Everton, first of all, if we can get Wan-Bissaka fit, if we can keep Højlund fit, and Maguire, McTominay, we need that physical presence definitely against Everton. I think we can beat Everton, right? Because they're more vulnerable at home. They feel under more pressure at home than what probably that we're doing. And when they're winning games away from home. So I fancy us at Everton for that one. Galatasaray, we have to win, and we will win. I really fancy it. And, people's going to tell us we've never beat Galatasaray away from home or whatever, but Copenhagen had never beaten us, and they'd never won in the Champions League till they played us. So records are there to be broken. So I'm going to say that.
They're saying that they've come in as big as before, didn't they? 2006. Did they not?
I thought we beat them. Actually, no, 2006. I don't know.
We lost to get away from home, didn't we, against Copenhagen 1-0? That's why the Theatre of Nightmares thing, wasn't it?
Something like 4 years since. It's 4 years. Yeah, but it's 4 or 5. It's 4 or 5 years since Copenhagen had won a game in the Champions League. That's what the point I was making. Sorry. So do you know what I mean? So the records are there to be smashed. So I fancy against Everton. I definitely fancy against Galatasaray. Chelsea, I don't know. Everything revolves around getting players back. If we can get Shaw back early, because don't forget, we've now got a nice little break. So we've got to hope that these players, and we know they're not going on they're not going on international duty. Varane doesn't go on international duty. You know, Johnny Evans won't be going on international duty. So we've half a chance of getting some players back. I don't.
Cutting out a little bit there, Kenny. I think is he gone?
It's a tremendous freeze frame as well. Isn't it?
It is.
Tremendous.
He's just gone near the end there. John, on to you.
This is kind of, I should have went first because following up all of this is tough.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, easy, bring it. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna keep it a little bit. I'm gonna keep it a little bit more sober. I think for the Galatasaray game, I just don't realistically see us winning. I don't even see us drawing. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's gonna be a really, really tough game. And honestly, weirdly enough, I think we're gonna lose against Galatasaray, but I think we're gonna win at Bayern. I just feel like we're gonna get
pointless.
a result. And it's gonna be one of those pointless results where it's like, all right, at least we went out with a fight. You know what I mean? But I think otherwise, though, I think we're gonna do well at Everton. If anything, the game that I'm more concerned about is actually the one against Bournemouth, because in the span of Everton on the 26th to Bournemouth on the 9th, we're gonna be playing on average a game every 3 days, 2-3 days, and that's gonna be tough. So I'd be a little bit concerned about the fitness aspect against Bournemouth, but I'm going to go 4 wins and 1 loss. And I think the loss is unfortunately going to be at Galatasaray, as much as I want to see my boys win.
Okay.
Yeah. Owen?
I'll be fast. So I think, let's go, just do it in reverse order. Bournemouth, win. Chelsea, I think we win. Newcastle, I think we lose. They've been really good at home this season. Like, really good at home this season.
No. He's waste man. All right, we're taking that.
Yeah, we're not going to win that one. Galatasaray, win. Yeah, 2-1. Everton.
Bang.
I just don't know if I can really subscribe to his win 4 out of 5.
We've just done it.
I feel like something's got to give somewhere. Maybe I say Galatasaray, that doesn't happen and it doesn't work out. But I do think we beat Everton. So maybe I'm going 3 wins and 2 losses or a draw in there. I don't think we beat Newcastle. Galatasaray, that's proper hopium settings, to be honest. I'm not sure about that.
No, we're smashed.
But that's big. But also, we've been inconsistent this season. So in the next 5 games, we're going to be inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. The evidence suggests that we're not going to go 5-5. That's for sure. I think there could be some bad ones in this. People call me negative, say this. You know, that's fine. That's fine. But
I had to sin bin him on his own channel, folks.
I was about to say as well, yeah. Everyone's saying he's gonna lose on his birthday.
I'll sin bin him and I'll do a swear as well.
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, this is a power trip, Owen.
We've gone through all that.
I've brought myself back. I want to know. So Owen didn't predict we was going to win 5. He said we'd lose 1. You don't even know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden,
you started with
the
a tone.
agenda is so strong.
You started with a tone.
Yeah, well, you didn't let me finish. I could have been doing a shit sandwich. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. You don't know how it's going to end.
But yeah, you probably would have a shit sandwich and you'd heat up at work like playing metal, which stunk as well. Oh,
you don't know what I was going to say. Do you know what I mean?
Man.
Okay, I could give you 2 types. Which one do you want? Do you want the lies or do you want the truth?
Speak your truth. I will not touch anything. I'll mute myself.
Do you want what I think, or do you want what you want me to say? What do you want?
Hands are up. The hands are up. I'm not touching anything.
What do you think?
The whole truth.
I took myself out that time.
He took himself out. He did it himself. So it was him. It wasn't even me. He knows it himself, folks. It wasn't a Freudian slip. It was a Freudian finger slip. I've never seen anything like it. He censored himself on his own channel.
Oh man.
If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Flecknology.
Oh, man.
Is Lucas has gifted 5 UV memberships in that time. Big up to you, Lucas. There you go. 5 more United View members. You can all join as well. But I won't keep because we've got to go. Yeah, I honestly feel there's going to be some bad ones in there. So I think Newcastle away is going to be a bad one. I think Galatasaray away will be a bad one. I think we'll beat Everton narrowly. I think we'll beat Bournemouth. And Chelsea. They play better against bigger teams. Say good teams. We're not good. But low block against them. We can beat them. Narrow. That'll be tight. Yeah. 2-1, 1-0. 2-1.
They give you chances. They can see goals.
They give you chances. Yeah. I'll go 2-1 against them. But I think in particular Galatasaray and Newcastle, I think will be humblers.
So no one's put a good birthday win for you, folks. Everybody's saying we're going to win your birthday.
I know. I really hope so. If they could do that, hopefully they're even more tired than they are now. And I know they've got a lot of injuries. Saw Trippier going in on a fan yesterday. I don't know what they're going to look like in a couple of weeks, but yeah, hopefully they don't look much better than now, and hopefully they're even more tired because they got to play. They've got to play PSG away.
PSG.
So they've got and AC Milan home. So the stakes are high for them, and they've got injuries. So hopefully they might have gassed out by them. But like you saw against Arsenal, at home under the lights, they find a gear that usually we can't enter. So hopefully I'm wrong. Yeah, exactly. I'll take a draw right now. I'll take a draw because that's what we also need as well. We need to stop these embarrassing losses, against the City, the Newcastle already once with their C team. Do you know what I mean? If that's what our C team can do to us at home, what can half of their A team do at home with a few? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't fancy that at all. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you to everybody who's gifted super chats. Thank you to everybody who's got involved. So that's Imran who's gifted. That is Lucas who's gifted super chats as well. Everyone who's sent in super chats. K-Flow also gifted 5 super chats as well. Big up to everyone. Big up to everyone.
Memberships.
Yeah. Memberships. Gifted 5 memberships. Exactly. Big up to everyone. He also said Lucas obviously wanted to do it as well. We needed the 500 likes, but we appreciate you as well. Where are we on with the likes?
Did we not get there in the end? Wow.
411. 411.
He did it at 400 instead. He did it at 400 instead.
Yeah, exactly.
It's embarrassing.
It is. And I believe, Owen.
A disgrace.
Arteta as well, by the way, trying to flip the narrative here. Bloody you are trying to flip it. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow morning on Morning View, me and Owen. Flexing KG show tomorrow, 3 p.m. live, new time. Tomorrow, Monday, 3 p.m. GMT. Live. Okay, so remember that is a new date and time for the Flexing KG show as well. And so much more coming your ways. We are out of here, guys. Take care. Peace.